Now, when you get this course, you will also get access to our funnel tracker and to our funnel planner. So in the next two sections, I will walk you through how these sheets work so that you can start using them and actually systematically build your funnels, right? That's another thing which I see very often in our agency and also with the one-on-one clients before I started working with them. Everybody's all over the place. Now, I totally get it. There's a lot of moving parts that go into it, and most people don't have the time to actually sit down, think through, and spend hours and weeks and actually years and years perfecting the system and so on, and having like just a simple step-by-step deliverable. So this is really going to help you if you start implementing it. This is the quote unquote boring part. Nobody likes to do it. From what I see, I actually enjoy it. I think it gives you clarity. It gives you vision. You can see like what you're doing. You can see how it makes sense. You can see how the numbers play out. You can project, plan, make goals, and all this sort of stuff. All this happens once you have your funnel planner and your funnel tracker in place and you're actually using them. Otherwise, really, what you have is a bunch of ideas that sound good, and you're like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing but you don't have a systematic process. So you want to make sure whatever you're doing in your business, specifically when it comes to funnel and traffic, you're tracking it, you're building it systematically, right? So if I share, let me just go back to this example funnel that we have here. This is all being thought through and systematically constructed, right? You do not want to design a funnel by just sitting down and thinking off the top of your head what to put in there, because I promise you, you will miss things. You will miss things. You will misremember things. You will mix up the order. You'll forget an email sequence, and all sorts of things will happen if you don't have a planner. Likewise, when you start advertising, which I suggest you do, again, this course is not about paid traffic, but I suggest you start advertising, or maybe you have a big social media following and a lot of organic traffic. Once you start putting people through, if you don't have clarity on all of the numbers, your average order value, your lifetime value, what the numbers look like on the back end, right? How many people purchase, what's it costing you, and so on. If you don't have that clarity, you will not know when to scale. You will not know when to tone down the campaigns. You'll be acting not based on facts and numbers. You'll be acting based on emotions. You'll have a bad day and you'll get scared and you'll reduce the budgets or maybe shut down the campaigns. Or you have a great day and you'll be elated and you'll think, okay, it's going great and so on. And in reality, what's happening is this can be a roller coaster, because that's how statistical standard deviation profits work. It's never just a smooth ride. Things average out, but normally it's up and down and up and down and up and down. And hopefully the whole trend is up. So anyway, that's my little soapbox moment. You want to plan, you want to track everything that you're doing, have a systematic process in place for your business so that you have solid foundations, right? Okay, so let me share my screen. I'll show you the sheet and I'll walk you through. I'll show you how the tracker works, how the planner works, and I'll explain how to use it. So you can see here the sheet. When you come in, this is an example of a lead gen funnel sheet or a lead magnet funnel sheet. This is the planner stage. Okay, so you've got your funnel deliverables. So going back to the funnel map, you need all of these things, right? So when you're looking at this map, now hopefully it makes sense why it's constructed the way it is, why it makes profits, why it works so well. But you see, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, right? If you don't have a sort of like a checklist, you'll forget things. So that's what this is. So here, you got the deliverables, okay? That basically means your offers. You've got the lead magnet. Let's go back here. So that's the freebie that people opt in for, right? Then you got your tripwire. That's the first purchase that the people make. Here, you're offering it, like I said, on the thank you page already. You're offering it on the sales page, which you're sending people back to that sales page from the email sequence and also from the retargeting ads. So that's your tripwire. Then you got your order bump 1 and your order bump 2. That comes here on the order form or on the checkout form. An order bump is what somebody can add to their shopping cart before they actually check out, right? Now, not all of the platforms out there have the capacity to add this order bump. And if they don't, you should seriously consider moving to another platform that does. I'm just going to give you a simple example. It's ClickFunnels. I'm not affiliated with it. They're very good with this stuff, and they will have all of these things that I'm talking about. Other platforms like SamCart, ThriveCart, they have a lot of this stuff. But then there are platforms which are specifically, let's say, for course creators like Teachable and Thinkific, which are really bad with this stuff. Kajabi actually is pretty decent. But yeah, the point here is it depends on the platform. Whatever platform you're using for people to make the purchase for the checkout forms, you want to check with that platform. Do you have the capacity, the options to add order bumps? If you do, can you add more than one? Ideally, you can add 2 of them. And furthermore, do you have the capacity to have one-click upsells, right? That means somebody purchases on the next page, you tell them, hey, just a second, I have this amazing offer, which is the logical next step for you since you purchased this first thing. And you can add it to your purchase just by clicking yes. So they do not have to enter the credit card into the system again, which means it's a very easy upsell. But again, which also means that the platform that you're using needs to have this capacity not all of them will have it, right? So you need to research. And again, if you're going to have a successful online business, you are going to need this. There's just no way around it. It's getting more and more competitive. You need to pay for ads. The ads are getting more and more expensive. If you don't have this, and that's hopefully why you've invested here into this course, is to improve all this, right? To learn how to actually make a lot of money and a lot of profits online, providing that you have a good offer. You need all this. If you don't have it, if you just think, okay, I understand these concepts, but I'm not going to have order bumps and I'm not going to have upsells, you're going to suffer. That doesn't mean that you're not going to make profits. You might make profits. It depends. Every business is different, but you are leaving a lot of money on the table by not having this. So anyway, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it's really is that important, right? So here is where you map out everything that you will have at different stages of the funnel. So here are just an example offers, and then he would put in the price, right? So this is for you to plan out, okay, how's my funnel going to look like? What am I offering at each of these steps? Now, the second tab in the sheet is listing out all of the pages, just the pages specifically, right? So like the deliverables, those are the offers. Now the pages are, in this case, the red boxes here. And again, we're going to walk through all of the core elements of the funnel, which we explained a few sections before. You got your pages, you got your offers, you got your emails and traffic, right? So I just explained about the offers, and now I'm explaining about the pages. So you've got your squeeze page. And again, this is just going to reflect the specific funnel that you're working on, right? So in this specific funnel, the lead magnet funnel, these are the pages that you have, okay? You got your opt-in page, right? Or the squeeze page. Again, that's the same name. I'll just add it to the sheet so there's no confusion. You got your thank you page with the upsell, right? So you're going to need to build that up. You have your checkout pages, which are here. They might be called an order form. Again, different platforms call it differently, but it's basically the same idea. You got your order bump, Johnson box, number one. Number two, by Johnson box, I just mean you've probably seen these order bumps. They normally they have a little box with a dotted line around them. That's why it's called a Johnson box. If you don't know what this means, you can Google it. It's really not important. But basically, you're going to need to have a little piece of text, a little piece of copy there on the checkout to pitch that order bump number one, and then another one to pitch that order one number two, right? So that's going to take some work and thinking through and like how to present it and so on. Then you're going to have your one-click upsell page number one. That's this one here. You're going to have your upsell page number two. That's this one here. And then you're going to have your final thank you page. That's after all is said and done and people land on the final page here. You will also need that page, right? And all of these elements, I suggest you put the link to them here. Now, again, order bump 1 and 2 will be the same link as the checkout page, unless you have a specific platform which has different links that it's out there. But basically, you put the links to all of these pages here because number one, if you don't, it's going to be harder to track. And what quite often happens, and I know that from running an agency and I know that from coaching people one-on-one, they will forget which pages they have at which stages of the funnel. And it's just going to take you a lot of time to all the time trying to log into your platform and trying to find, I don't know, your one-click upsell page to see how it looks like or to see if there are any elements that need to be improved. So just put it all here so you have it all in one place. It's going to make life so much easier. Then you want to go through all of this sort of a checklist, all of these things here, and make sure that you have them on each of these pages, okay? So Facebook pixel install, okay? I'm just going to make a quick example. You go here and say, okay, opt-in page, does it have your Facebook pixel installed? If yep, you say yes. If no, you say no, okay? And if it doesn't have it, obviously you're going to want to install it. Even if you're not running ads, I recommend you install Facebook pixels, you install TikTok pixels, you install Google conversion tracking, which is basically Google/YouTube pixels. I would put this into all of your pages because even if you're not advertising now, chances are at some point you will, and you will want that data later because you cannot get it retroactively, right? So you want to start collecting it now, even if you're not thinking about advertising yet. At some point, if you're successful, you're going to think about advertising and you're going to want to have this installed. If you are already advertising, definitely make sure that you have it installed. Again, if you're just advertising on Facebook, but not on TikTok, trust me, you will want to advertise on TikTok at some point. And at that point, you're going to regret that you don't have the pixel because you won't be able to retarget people and TikTok is not going to have any information. So you're going to be starting from scratch and all of the data basically will be lost in terms of TikTok ads. Go through and make sure to install these pixels. Again, this course is not about paid traffic and pixels and stuff. It's about the components of the funnel. Google if you have to, or get some of our other trainings on how to do this, but make sure you have all this on your pages. Terms and conditions and privacy links in the footer. Now you have to have terms and conditions on every page in your funnel and privacy links in the footer. I suggest to put it in the footer. It can be small, but you need those links there. Those are very often requirements for all of these advertising platforms. So you just need to have it. I don't know what the legal requirements are in your specific area of the world. It's very likely that it's also required by law. So you need to have this everywhere. It's also a trust marker, which means customers, potential prospects, they will trust your website more if they see privacy links, if they see terms and conditions, if they see a logo on the page, if they see HTTPS, that just means that the connection is secure, right? So if you don't know what this is, I'm just going to use this here, Google, see HTTPS. Now, sometimes you'll find a website without the S, it just says HTTP. And then normally, if you're using a Chrome browser, and some other browsers will have it as well, you'll get a warning that this connection is not secure. Right? This is not something that you want your customer to experience on your funnels, right? Just imagine you're browsing online, you click on an ad, you land on a page, and your browser says this page is not secure. You will never buy anything from that page. And you already be a little bit concerned that like maybe you caught a virus or something, right? This is how people think. So you want to make sure that you have this on every page in your funnel. Again, this is normally a systemic solution. Just talk to whoever your hosting provider. They should set you up with this if you don't have it, but you need to have this. Mobile responsive. Now, every page in your funnel needs to be mobile responsive. And by that, I mean, if you click here, you will see a few notes. It has to look great on mobile. These days, most of the internet traffic, and especially when you're talking about paid traffic from social media and so on, most of the internet traffic is from mobile devices, which means most of your customers, most of your leads, prospects, they will visit all of these pages in your funnel on their mobile. So it has to look good on mobile. Otherwise, they'll have a bad experience and they won't convert. Now, a lot of them, they might come and opt in for free for a little freebie on their mobile device, but when it's time to buy, they will actually go to their laptop and put in the credit card and so on, right? But if that experience on their mobile phone initially was poor, they're not going to come back and purchase, right? So you need to make sure it looks great on mobile. Now, if you don't know how to do this, normally all of these page builders that you typically use, like Kajabi, ClickFunnels, and so on, they will have an option to check how it looks like on mobile. If not, there's a website called Responsive Design Checker. It's a free website. Just Google Responsive Design Checker, and you can put your website in there. You can put every individual page in there, and it's going to show you how it looks like on different devices. And there are other pages like this out there. Just Google how to see if your page is mobile responsive. And then here you have a box for notes. You might want to expand this. This is just in case you want to make some notes about different stages of the funnel, but that's how this page, this tab of the sheet looks like. Okay, so moving on, we're going to have a look at the funnel emails on your funnel planner. So let's go back to our example funnel here. As you can see, there's lots of email sequences here, and I suggest, and I strongly suggest, that you plan them out and do not just write them on the fly and off the top of your head, but actually think about what you're going to put in there and then plan them out. And then you can use this planner to make sure that you have all the emails that you need. So again, here you will have, I suggest you put the link to the sequence in here. So whatever provider you're using, whatever email autoresponder, email tool you're using for your emails, you can normally link to that sequence directly into your Google Sheet. So let's say you're using ConvertKit, or maybe you're using ActiveCampaign, or you're using GetResponse, or whatever you're using. When you have your sequence open, you can take that link just like this from the browser, and you can just copy it and just put it in here, right? And what that's going to do is it's going to save you, again, a lot of time clicking around trying to find that sequence every single time when you're trying to see what you put in the emails because you don't remember, or you want to check something about the sequence, open rates and things like this. It's going to make your life so much easier to just have a link here, click it, and it's going to open it, right? At the same time, you will see there's a column for each of the email sequences that you need in your funnel, right? So imagine how much simpler it will be to just click like this and click, and it's going to open it. Trust me, I work with so many clients. Our agencies work with many clients. I personally have coached a lot of people one-on-one. It takes a lot of time if you don't have it organized like this, just to find the sequences. You'll spend 5 minutes just trying to look, where did I put that sequence? Is it this one? How did I name it? I don't remember. I think it's this one. Oh no, that's the old version. Where's the other one? Oh, here it is, right? It happens all the time. And all of these little things, they add up. And that time doesn't go into actually doing productive stuff. And it adds up because there's hundreds and thousands of these little things, but you have links, like you'll get way more done. You'll just progress so much faster. And that might be the thing that actually moves the needle in your business. So do not underestimate having everything laid out and planned and easy access, simple one-click access like this. So yeah, I would suggest link all of the sequences in here. This is pretty self-explanatory. However many emails you choose to put in those sequences. Again, I'm not going to go into detail in this course about what to put in the sequences and how many emails. More is better. Let's put it this way. The main mistake that I see people do is not sending enough emails. They'll maybe just have one abandoned cart email, or maybe they'll just have here, somebody opts in for a freebie. They'll just send them an email, just delivering the freebie, and that's it, right? So here you can see, normally I put 3 or 4 icons. So just go with, that's a good starting point. You can put 3 to 4 emails into each of these sequences. And that's a good starting point. Again, more is better. If you want to add more than 8 emails, feel free, just add another row here and so on, right? First sequence, delivering the lead magnet and upsell the tripwire, going back to the funnel. That's the sequence here, right? Somebody opted in for the freebie, you deliver it, then you're trying to sell them the tripwire, so you're sending them back to these sales pages. Now, what's in those emails? I suggest you actually put the types in here, right? So here you have the option to, so let's say subject line, and you will say, did you see this? And then you can continue and just write out the entire email. So that when you come here, it's very easy for you to see what you're sending to people. And it's going to be very easy for you to click, check the sequence, improve some stuff. If you're talking with a coach, like somebody like me, or maybe you're in a coaching program, it's going to be very easy for you to share that information. The more organized you are, the more efficient you are in your business and the more money you will make. A lot of people, in fact, I would argue most people, most businesses that don't make a lot of money, but they have a good offer, is because they're disorganized. They don't have things like this implemented in their business. They don't have trackers and planners. They're all over the place. And that's what actually is holding them back. And they never know it. They think they're looking for a magic trick, a magic solution, which you don't need. This is the magic, right? It's being consistent with the little things, doing the basics really well, and not getting distracted by shiny objects. Anyway, I repeat myself. This is how you use it. This is pretty self-explanatory. Every sequence here is corresponding to every stage of the funnel here. If you have more of them, so maybe you'll have more upsells. So feel free to adapt this funnel. This is just starting point. If you just have one upsell, obviously you do not have the email sequence here. If after the second upsell, perhaps now you have a longer email sequence, which is upselling them into your high ticket, or maybe you have a mastermind or whatever you have, right? Just feel free to add it here. But I suggest you use this as a ready-made solution and then tweak it and adapt it to your business, to your specific offers, and then use these principles that I'm showing you here to adapt to your specific offer. So just add columns to the sheet, add the stages to the funnel, whatever you need to do. On the one level, I'm teaching you how to do it, what to do and what to say and how to design the funnel. But I'm also showing you behind the scenes, like how I'm thinking about this thing, so that you'll be able to adapt it on the fly to your business, right? But yeah, make sure you're planning all of the stages in your funnel. Use this sheet, adapt it if needed, and you'll be way, way ahead of the game.